Okay, so we're going to do a case of a biocopy. When we're doing a biocopy, what we're trying to do is copy the tooth exactly how it comes into the office. Most your cases, most your patients, you're not going to change the occlusion when they come in. They're 90% or plus of your patients are going to be in a stable MIP relationship. You want to give back the crown that they had before. Now, if they have a broken tooth, that's a little bit different. We're going to use the biogeneric individual. But most of those times, these patients are coming in with exactly what you want to copy. This is especially true when you have a crown and you have recurrent caries underneath the margin, and you want to copy the crown exactly as it is, or you have a crown that has recurrent caries and it's holding a partial. You want to copy that too so perfectly that the partial fits. This was kind of the game-changing situation that really launched CEREC. Was that this is one example of a case where it made it really efficient and for the patient, so they wouldn't have to be without their partial. Okay, we're going to set this case up. As you can see on the left, I have it as auto detect for a crown on individual crowns. Remember that single restoration, these are bridges. So single restoration, auto detect. Instead of doing the bio individual, we're going to go down to biocopy. The biocopy and then anything on the left. It's all filled in, CEREC zirconia, and then the device. If over here is grayed out, that means something on the left was not filled in completely. Go back and fill that in. You can see I have tooth number 3 highlighted. That means that we're going to do tooth number 3. So let's go to acquisition. Okay, down here on the lower, you can see there's a couple stars. Anywhere you see a star, that is required. So on a biocopy case, you only need the part that you're going to biocopy and the prep tooth. You don't need the lower jaw and you don't need the buccal. Now, in cases where you may want to use the biocopy as a reference, that is a completely different way of setting up the case. But in this case, is that you're copying the tooth perfectly, exactly how it came in, all cusps, all height of contours. And so that is, you only need to scan. So, okay, let's start with biocopy up. Patient comes in and we're going to scan that tooth. So when you scan these teeth, make sure you spend some time and get them perfectly all the way around. Don't miss anything, especially if this is going underneath a partial. You definitely want to make sure that this fits exactly how the patient came in. So spend a little time, get that really well, and then what you're going to do is get the rest of it. So, okay, buckle, and label. Okay. So now that looks really good. Now you want to get enough teeth so that they articulate with the you want to get enough teeth so that the two images stitch over top of each other. So don't just get like the prep tooth and maybe one tooth in front. Get a few more so that way the computer has enough data points for it to stitch the copy on. So, okay, so patient is prepped. We switch over to upper jaw, and now we're going to scan the prep. So again, in terms of the biocopy, you don't have to get as much. You don't have to do a full-inch scan or go all the way around. You just need to get enough so that the data points stitch. And you'll see as I'm capturing stuff, when we go back, the computer will overlay the actual biocopy. So see how it popped the biocopy on? It's kind of got a fainted image there. So that means that popped on perfectly and we're good to go. You have 2 green checks down here. Well, you got 1, which is saying that the biocopy stitched perfectly. So, okay, now we're going to go to model. So once we go to model, now here, let's stop here a second. Before we move on, it's best to do your cuts and your cleanup of the model in this screen before you go to model, because once you do it, you clean the model up, it actually reduces the overall size of the file, making it more speedier. But as soon as you hit model, it doesn't matter if you clean it up after, it's going to always maintain that same size of file for that file, regardless if you cut it after. So do it here before you go into the next phase, which is model. So I'm just going to take this away. Okay. Good. So let's go to model and generate model. The nice thing about these is that your computer will go faster because they're smaller data sets. So anytime that I can do a biocopy, I'm doing that over a bio individual. As much as we like to add all our characteristic anatomy into it, give back what the patient wants. A lot of times what happens is you do the bio individual, it's a little bit high, so the patient tells you that, you adjust and you adjust, and then after a while it starts to look like the tooth that came in. So you thought to yourself, well, why didn't I just do biocopy? Okay, so now we're back. Let's draw the margin. So now, since the margin is pretty super G and definable, I'll start in magnetic. And you can double click on magnetic and you can just move yourself down the line until that's good. It's good. And there we go. Now we got our margin. Just check it, make sure it looks okay. Okay. Prep analysis. Undercut, no undercuts. Margin. Margin looks good. And see how distance to antagonist is turned off? Obviously, you don't have an antagonist, so don't expect it. And the surface is nice and rounded. So fantastic. So we're going to go to copy line. So now the copy line, everything above the white line will be copied. Everything below it's going to be filled in. So if this crown is going underneath a partial and you want all the height of contours, you want all the guide planes, I'm definitely bringing this down to about where the crown is. So I'm going to just go around it, copy that exactly as best as I can. That's why it's really important that you take a really nice scan at the beginning. Now, if I connected here, it would give me a weird design. So I just kind of go here, double click it, and then just pick it back up over here, and then come back and double click it. And now we have the design. So say, for example, the patient broke off this mesial lingual cusp. So say this was gone. What you'd want to do is, now this is a case where you would actually scan the upper, the opposing, and the buccal bite because you want the computer to fill in what is not there. So if I was going to replace that and let the computer make a decision about it, I would go around the actual cusp like that and connect down there. And that will say that everything inside the white line will be copied exactly how the patient had it, and then everything outside, the computer will use its AI or its built-in processing to generate the cusp. So we're not doing that today, but I thought you just knew about that. Okay, so we got a prep, we got everything, we go to design. Now, the design should be exactly how the crown looks. If not, you have a couple things wrong with it. Either you under-reduced, that's the number one. If you see that the crown is not looking exactly like the pre-op copy, then it's probably a reduction issue. Or it's an access issue. So check those things first and then continue on. So minimal thickness is not violated, looks fantastic. Now, one of the ways that you want to look at to see whether or not it's stitched correctly, just look at it, looks done real well. The other is put in upper biocopy. When you put in upper biocopy, it should have this meshy, like almost speckled appearance. That tells you it looks like it's stitched well. Now, one of the things I found over the time or I've learned from someone who knows is that to bring this down to the height of the actual tooth. So what you're looking at is the original tooth you scanned. The white is a little bit more. So if you hit form, you hit remove, you basically make this orange dot as big as you can, start anywhere that you see orange and click once. And then do the same thing, click once, click once, click once, once. And just what you're doing is you're bringing this down to the height of the original tooth. And it'll go no more than what you're taking off. So like there, bring it down for the height of contour. So just kind of go around it and get rid of all that orange. Now, sometimes when it's really close to the minimal thickness, it'll be a little bit less speckled and more out. So probably as we bring it down and get closer, there might be a minimal thickness issue there. Okay, so I like that. So I'm gonna turn biocopy off. Now you can see the crown as it looks. And I'm just gonna smooth out just a few spots. Do as little smoothing as you can. Just basically, like I said, say this was going underneath the partial, which it is. You can see the rest seat on there. You're going to do as minimal manipulation of this as possible. You want these two to line up 100%. Okay. So there is your upper biocopy, and now you just go to manufacture. And remember to send it to InLab Cam. Before you do that, always check the internal aspect of it. Looks really good. No blue, light blue. If you ever see any light blue on the margin, it means it's going to overmill and not be seat correctly and have an open margin. So make sure you go back and check your prep. But that looks good. Nice, smooth internal, rounded internal line angles. Shape and design looks good. If you have any questions, come talk with me. But that's how you do a biocopy crown underneath a partial or a replica.